Can you see everyone? Am I? Oh,
Yeah.
there they are.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
So we just went on a really cool trip to the Georgia Aquarium. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Atlanta Aquarium before.
I have.
But they have one of the largest fish tanks. Why don't you tell Miss Lindsay some of the things that you saw today at the Georgia Aquarium? Lily, what did you see?
I saw the light of jellyfish.
You saw a jellyfish that lit up.
Me too.
Wow.
What did you see, Ansley?
I saw seahorse, baby seahorse.
Baby seahorses. Okay, Kyle, quickly.
I saw an angel shark.
Oh, an angel shark. Very cool.
Whoa.
Dolphin.
Okay, dolphins. All right, Miss Lindsay, I want you to tell us about what you do.
What I mostly do is I study sea turtles. Did you guys see any sea turtles at the aquarium?
No.
I
didn't
know. Okay.
There was only one sea turtle there, Miss Lindsay, and it was a small one. I think he's only about 5 years old.
Okay. So since I study sea turtles, where do I have to go to study them?
Tucker, where does she have to go to study? What do you think? Does she go to the desert to study the sea turtles? No. Where do you think she has to go?
To the sea.
To the sea. Is that correct, Miss Lindsay?
Yeah. So I have to go on boats, and I have to go far offshore to try to go into the areas of the ocean where sea turtles live. And then how do you think I can capture them? Because I can look at them and I can observe some things about them, but one thing that I do to study sea turtles is I hand capture them, and then I take skin samples. How do you think I catch the sea turtles?
How did she catch the sea turtles? Who thinks they... No, how could she catch them? Merrick?
She could swim in the water.
Do you swim in the water to catch them?
I do. So what we have to do is, since we're in the middle of the ocean, we use a small boat, and we try to find a turtle, and then once we find it, we have to come up by it slowly so we don't scare it, because we don't want them to think that we're trying to hurt them. So we have to come up to them very slowly, and then I jump in the water, and I have to swim and catch them very carefully, and then I have to bring them back in the boat. And we call this the turtle rodeo.
The turtle rodeo.
Yeah. So I have to rodeo sea turtles so that I can capture them.
So that means do you ride the sea turtle?
I don't ride them, no, but I do.
Okay.
I catch them by holding onto their shell, which we call a carapace, and then I push their tails down, and the sea turtle actually swims me and the sea turtle up to the surface because they're really strong swimmers and they have really muscular flippers. So as soon as I push their tail down, they swim us both to the surface, and then once they're at the surface, I can have people help me get the turtle on the boat, and then that's where I do.
Wow, that is really cool. So did you hear that? She actually grabs onto the shell, pushes the tail down on the turtle, and the turtle, probably because he's a little nervous because you're grabbing onto him, does he start swimming right away?
Yeah, their instinct is just to swim, swim, swim.
First time you ever did that, Miss Lindsay, were you nervous?
I was really nervous, and the first few times that I did it, I missed. I tried to grab the turtle, and I didn't get him because I was too nervous. But after I caught the first one, I got all this confidence, and I was like, okay, I can do this. This isn't that hard. And then,
wow,
there it was.
How many of you think she has a really cool job? Now, when you take the skin samples, what are you checking for, Miss Lindsay?
So this is a little complicated, but what I'm checking for is I want to know what they eat. And why do you think that I have to look at their skin and maybe like the different elements that are in their skin, like carbon and nitrogen? Why would I have to look at their skin? Why can't I just watch them and see what they're eating? What's the problem with that? Why don't you think that I couldn't just sit out in a boat and watch them eating?
Okay, so she's taking skin samples, and she has to test the skin to see what is in their skin. It helps her know what they're eating. She wants to know, why can't she just sit out in a boat and watch them eat to see what they're eating? Alex, what was your answer?
Because if they just look at the thing, then when they see them, they might not catch food.
Maybe they're not eating when she sees them. That's a good idea.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, if you're nervous, if someone's staring at you, you're not going to be doing what you normally would do if you're just hanging out by yourself. So that's a good answer. What else? Why else can't I just sit there and watch them eat?
What do you think, Graham?
A good better way to get it, you should just shoot it with a net gun and then make sure it has like not holes in it, water in it. If she could put like a kind of tape and then the water will get into it, and then the sea turtle gets into it, and then you tie it around and you get it in there, and then you get some food for it, and then you bring it to your lab and put it in some better water.
Okay, Graham has good ideas for everything, Miss Lindsay.
Yes.
So he thinks that you should have a net gun and put the net around him, and then you could get him.
Shoot the net around him.
Okay, shoot the net around him, and
Yeah.
you could bring him to.
Because they're faster than turtles.
Yeah, oh, the net gun is faster than turtles. But
so there's
even
one little problem with that, and that's a good idea to bring the turtle into like a tank, like an aquarium that you guys were in today. So if you bring the turtle into the aquarium, and then you can watch them eating. But the problem with that is that that's not what they normally do when they're in the wild. Because when they're in the aquarium, we're giving them food and they're eating it. Kind of like you guys do at lunchtime if you ever go to the cafeteria. They're just giving you food and you eat it, right? But if you're not in the cafeteria, if you're in your kitchen, you've got to go out and you got to go to the refrigerator and figure out, what do I want to eat today? Am I going to make myself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or what? So that's what the turtles have to do in the wild, right? They have to go out and say, am I going to eat some sponges today? Am I going to eat some crabs? Am I going to eat some algae? What am I going to eat? And that's what I'm really interested in. If they're in the wild, when we're not helping them eat, and they're eating all on their own, what are they eating? So
what are some of their favorite things to eat?
That's a good question, yeah. So the turtles that I study live out in the middle of the ocean, and they, in the middle of the ocean, there's not a whole lot to eat. Like when you guys are close to shore and you're swimming around and you see that there's all these fish and all this algae and seaweed, it's not like that in the middle of the ocean. In the middle of the ocean, it's very, very deep, and so there's not a lot of plants that can grow, right? Because plants need sunlight, so the sunlight can't get all the way to the bottom of the ocean. So when you're a turtle and you're in the middle of the ocean, you have to really work hard for your food. So when you come across something like, there's some crabs that live out there that the turtles like to eat. There's some algae that they like to eat. And another thing that they like to eat that you guys saw at the aquarium today is jellyfish. They love to eat jellyfish. Because
You knew that?
there's tons of jellyfish out in the middle of the ocean. So lots of jellyfish for them to eat. But the reason that I can't just sit there in a boat and watch them eating is because they spend all their time underwater. So they're always swimming beneath the surface of the water. So it's almost impossible for me to observe them while they're eating. So that's why I have to use all these other really interesting tools to try to figure out what they eat, like take skin samples. Because we use this saying that is, you are what you eat. And that means that everything you put into your body shows up in somewhere in your body, like in your skin, in your hair, in your bones, in your muscles. So if we can't actually see what the turtle's eating, we can take a little bit, a sample of their skin to see what food they're eating.
And she has one more question for you.
One last question,
Hold on.
really quick. Just by raise of hands, I just want to know who likes science, who likes biology and animals and being outside and being in nature.
You know
all of
what?
you guys? Wow, that's awesome. So are these all future scientists, Ms. Schindler?
Yeah, you know what, Miss Lindsay? We have a science lab in our school, and about once every 2 weeks we get to go down and do really super cool science experiments. We are really fortunate at this school to have a science lab and a science teacher named Mrs. Smith, and she shows us some really cool things. And raise your hand if you'd like to be a scientist when you grow up.
That's awesome. That's
You can
really
wear
cool.
a really cool white jacket like Miss Lindsay.
Or a bathing suit, and you can go in the ocean. What are the two? It's a trade-off.
Raise your hand if you think Miss Lindsay has a super cool job of getting to look at sea turtles. Miss Lindsay, I'd like to say thank you. My friends, what can you say to Miss Lindsay?
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you have a great day. You know, It's only the morning. She just started her work day, and we're just finishing ours.
Yeah.
She is in Hawaii, remember? Bye.
Yeah.
Say bye to Miss Lindsay.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good
Like
evening.
the